Hello, everybody. My name is Jenny Tao, and today I'm presenting a media news update on the Chinese media app WeChat, specifically investigating the impacts of surveillance and censorship on this media platform based on recent news. Now, I'm sure some of you may not be familiar with this app, so allow me to briefly introduce it to you. WeChat is an app based in China that has become a major part of daily life in the country since its release in 2011. To its now over 1.1 billion users, it's their Uber, their dating app, their social media, a way to keep in touch with international friends and family, their social media, and much, much more. Through the Chinese diaspora of immigrants around the globe, it's even expanded its reach to international levels. However, despite globalization, censorship and surveillance by the Chinese government has greatly restricted the flow of certain information and media on this platform, as was discussed in Module 5. For instance, it's recently fixed a so-called bug and made WeChat content unsearchable on engines such as Bing and Google as a part of the Great Firewall that acts as a barrier between China and outside media. Still, WeChat has its eyes on expansion. Domestically, it has recently collaborated with major banks such as Bank of Ningbo to improve credit card use for users. According to Toplin 2022, already nearly 8 in 10 mobile phone users make both proximity and peer-to-peer mobile payments in China. Much like AT&T, as discussed in Module 4, WeChat constantly adapts and updates its functions to remain relevant in an ever-progressing society. Another instance of this is the creation of WeChat's video channels feature, which was created to compete with the relatively newer success of fellow Chinese social media app TikTok. This was all done in a bid to remain relevant. And even if the video channel function failed to be quite as successful as TikTok itself, it demonstrates WeChat's desire to reach an international audience similar to its competitor. Many have expressed stated concerns on the privacy of user data on WeChat as well. Chinese law and government influence have made it a tool for propaganda and censorship of any critical content of China on the platform. And it has made the app a way for the government to control the media and people of China. For example, U.S. scholar Teng Biao brings up the Chinese cybersecurity law, which requires WeChat to cooperate with the CCP by giving over any data it needs, including information on international users, which makes this a security concern for other nations. Now, as an overview, it's clear that WeChat is ultimately a company and it wants to be the sort of transnational media conglomerate discussed in Module 3. But government censorship and interference has largely hindered this, and as seen in the recent developments discussed earlier in this presentation. Its content is also highly localized to the humor and preferences of its Chinese user base, which references the idea of localization in Module 3 when discussing arguments against American media imperialism. Now, privacy concerns also mean that the WeChat app can get potentially shut out of foreign markets over such concerns. This all accumulates into the recent controversies. Ma Huateng, co-founder of WeChat, has recently gone silent, a stark contrast to his previously active public presence. Similarly, other major Chinese tech leaders have resigned and gone silent as well, such as CEOs of TikTok, in what appears to be a silencing of even the most powerful media voices in China. In April of 2022, Shanghai was forced into a sudden total lockdown, leaving many people with no food and shelter. Health and emergency services and resources failed, and in response, a citizen on WeChat created a moving, now infamous video known as The Voices of April, showcasing the horrifying conditions of Shanghai. People of WeChat attempted to keep this piece of media circulating against the censors on the app for several hours before it was finally completely erased from WeChat. I'll now let a piece of the video speak for itself as it lives on in international platforms such as YouTube.
告诉你一个事实，就是病房很紧张，隔离点没有房间，120没有车，这个就是事实。现在嘛，让我通知人家阳性，健康云上嘛是个阴性，我们都让人家打1235投诉健康云，搞什么搞嘛？
现在连上海发布微博上面都关闭评论了。
今天早晨4点多钟就来了，到现在都几点了？这个菜是不是要全部烂掉？水也没得喝。上海有小卖铺有没有？吃没得吃。我是来支援的，无偿的。我现在连温饱都解决。
你知不知道，我们有浦东的居民、浦东的朋友们，他们收到大礼包，上面印的是宝山区政府。你让我们作为宝山区大场镇的居民是作何感想？
谢谢大肥们。 要上面有好的政策来给我，我可以对居民有交代。现实是没有，知道吗？没有，那个工作让我身心疲累。
为了谁啊？我自己也有家呀，你们有家带不动，我是有家不能回呀。
要把他打死！哎呦天哪！我们不是一栋人。
WeChat shows the importance of outside ideas and the benefits of globalization in media, as well as the consequences of censorship. Something I think will be important to continue studying and considering moving on in the future. Now, that brings us to the end of this presentation. Here are my sources, and thanks to SlidesGo for this presentation template. And finally, thank you for your time today.